So official.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Micheaux Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Triple. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be wrapping up Women's History Month with the 2 stars of Women's History Month so far. We reviewed Viola Davis in The Woman King to start off things. And then we took a trip with Harriet, starring Cynthia Erivo. Now, after a purple off-ramp last week.
Mm-hmm. Purple Detour.
Purple Detour.
Purple Detour.
I like that.
I think that's
perfect.
a B-side. That was a B-side to Let's Go Crazy.
Exactly.
Purple Detour.
Stupid. Mm-hmm. We are back with Viola Davis and Cynthia Erivo and Micheaux Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. And a whole bunch of other people that I forgot was in this movie.
It's pretty packed.
Director Stephen McQueen's WIDOWS from 2018. And we are going to be reviewing that with the Words on Flicks host herself, JANINE Coveney. Later in the show, she will be joining us live here via Zoom for that interview or for that review. We'll talk to her about movies. She'll tell us about all the movies that she loves. Mm-hmm. We'll talk to her about the movies that we love. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about the widows that are in this film. Mm-hmm. All right? Mm-hmm. So that is what's coming up. But first, Vincent, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. And how are you?
I'm doing great, but I do want to start the show off kind of like righting a wrong from last week.
Absolutely.
Because we were in such a rush to get to our review and have fun with Tanya Pendleton last week talking about Purple Rain, that we did not address, speak of, the loss, the great loss of Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
Actor gone way too soon at the age of 60 years old last week.
So sad.
I know.
So sad. Such a love Lance Reddick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you remember where you first saw him?
I first saw Lance Reddick in not The Wire, in Oz.
Okay.
That's where I first saw Lance Reddick, and he was like, I can't remember his character's name, but he was an MFer.
Oh yeah,
like everybody on Oz, right?
Yeah.
And he was a dude that definitely struggled with his demons. Was always conniving, getting over on people. And he was a lot, not that Lance Reddick was ever a super big guy, but he was a lot thinner, almost emaciated in Oz.
Right.
That's when I first took note of him, and he made such an indelible mark on me that then when he showed up in The Wire, I was like, well, this is not right. This is destined to go wrong because this guy is a crackhead.
So, same story, but I think. Are you thinking about The Corner?
No, I'm thinking about Oz.
Oz, because he played Candy Alexander's love interest on The Corner.
I never watched The Corner.
For maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and it was the same thing.
Oh, really?
He was so striking. And such a presence. And he was acting opposite Candy Alexander, who, I love Candy Alexander. Yeah. And he really was a force. And the same thing, when I saw him after that, I was like, this is a presence.
I know.
And, certainly throughout the years, I was so happy for him, the acclaim he's gotten from the John Wick series.
I know.
But, as I was a big fan of Fringe, and then obviously The Wire, which is perhaps his most iconic role. So yeah, it's a real loss. It's a real loss.
It's funny. I just saw John Wick 4 this past weekend.
I've got to carve out 2 hours.
Carve out a little bit more.
Carve out 3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours.
It's 2 hours and 48 minutes.
Okay, all right.
But he's prominent in there. I don't want to spoil it, but he's prominent in the film.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So it was like amazing to watch him there. But I had just finished watching him because, unbeknownst to me, he plays the leader of the Moon People.
Leader of the Moon People.
On the second season of the DuckTales reboot. He is the voice actor.
Does. He is the leader.
I was like, oh my God.
Just great range.
Oh, man.
And a funny guy.
Funny.
Yeah, funny guy. So
Funny.
yeah.
So gone too soon.
Gone too soon.
Lance Riddick.
Yeah.
We definitely wanted to take some time to
Sure. Acknowledge that.
acknowledge that. And now, speaking of acknowledging, let's get to our listener mail.
Missives from the missionaries.
That's right. And
What's going on?
Let me tell you, we've got more than a few.
All right. It's popping in the mailbag.
It is popping in the mailbag, Vincent. We might get in trouble here.
Okay.
We heard from Azia Taylor.
Hey, Azia.
Good afternoon, Len and Vince. Have you seen The Last Black Man in San Francisco? I'd be interested in hearing your review. Azia, we actually did see The Last Black Man. We actually did review it.
We did.
So I will provide a link to that review in our show notes so you can.
But love the film.
We did love the film.
Love the film.
We did love the film.
And as far as his acting prowess, we were very early admirers of Jonathan Majors' skill as an actor.
His skill as an actor,
Which is what we're speaking of.
was all we're speaking of. We
Yes.
were not aware of anything else.
Well, we're all, we just do movies and acting.
Okay.
Was that the extent of the letter?
No, it's not. I'm laughing because I don't care. And I'm fine. I'm fine. We cover movies here. This is what we do.
Yes.
But someone asked me whether or not we were going to talk about Jonathan Majors.
Sure.
And I said,
the very serious allegations being made against him.
yes. And I said, Vincent is going to say that we cover movies.
I mean,
And I said, that's what we cover.
right.
And that's what we're doing.
Right. If you want to do gossip and, maybe we can do each other's hair and pop some popcorn.
That would be a short session.
And,
That would be a very short session that we're doing here.
Maybe play some truth or dare and tell scary stories to each other. That's a different podcast.
Azia continues.
Azia continues.
Also, I didn't see a recap of the final 2 episodes of Kindred season 1. Were you as bewildered as I? Keep up the great work. Thanks, Azia Taylor. Oh, Vincent, do you want to address? I was waiting for somebody to write us. Do you want to address what happened in regards to the last 2 seasons of Ripple in Time?
You know
last
what?
2 episodes of Ripple
You know what?
in Time.
I think everyone involved in the Kindred adaptation on FX meant well. I think the vision that all of the creators who meant well and did is sort of executed the vision that they had
Right.
differed from the vision that many of us who have been fans of Octavia Butler and this book for decades.
Yes.
So that while I would never celebrate the cancellation of a television show with black creatives and a black vision and this cast of people who I'm sure, did great work, I also do not mourn it.
Right.
So it seemed that there was a better use of our time than critiquing 2 episodes of a show that A, was already canceled, B, many of us, and I'm going to speak for the whole Ripples in Time team, including you, had nothing more to offer in our critique.
No, we did not.
So it seemed better to just let it fade away.
Yeah.
Much like Kindred, the television series, has faded away. We wish everyone well.
Yes, we do.
We look forward to the next adaptation of Octavia Butler's work.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Azia,
There you go.
for your your email.
No further questions.
Opportunity to address that little conundrum.
Yes.
All right. Okay. We also heard from Courtney Muhammad
Hey, what's up, Courtney?
in regards to our review last week of Purple Rain.
All right.
Hey, Len and Vincent. The Purple Rain episode was absolutely fantastic.
Hey, Tanya Pendleton was here. All we had to do was not mess it up.
Very true. Tanya Pendleton was a legit Prince expert or
Yes.
Prince expert,
Yes, yes.
and overall an awesome guest.
Look, man.
But the best part of the show was the voice Vince let out when he squealed in excitement. I'm a sign of the times
Look,
person too.
man. I said this to Tanya's face. Tanya, Dreamhampton, Michael Gonzalez, like that whole generation of 90s music journalists and culture journalists were like I actually looked up to them. So I was
Well, right, because you were writing.
right.
That
I was
your
right,
beat
like
in Baltimore.
yeah, not on that level, right?
Right.
Like, but I so respect what Tanya has done as a journalist and as a social critic, so that I think it came through.
Yeah, like the audience may think I was joking when I was
Yeah.
saying that you were geeking
Yeah,
about Tanya.
yeah.
You were geeking hard.
And I'm not a geeker.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not. And yet we
I'm
did,
usually nonplussed.
not last week, because we did a whole nother show in the parking lot.
I was a bit
after we left here.
I know.
The two of you.
I know.
I was like,
Yeah, I know. I know.
y'all do realize the mics are off.
Look, man. I think we got to celebrate our people.
Nah, I hear you,
So,
man. You gave her much love, and much love was due. I was saying.
Absolutely.
Courtney just continues, I absolutely love the show and get mad when I miss it. Thanks for being one of my most favorite times of the week. Continue being great, guys. Courtney.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Courtney. Appreciate that. And one last email, Vincent. And
Okay.
this is from Ellis Heron,
What's up, Ellis?
our guy from Fort Worth.
That's right.
Regarding your Oscar talk, I agree that the Best Supporting Actress award went beyond performance. Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis has paid her share of dues, and I appreciated her showing love to us genre fans in her acceptance speech. But let's not forget what Angela Bassett has done in her career, which is why I can understand her having the reaction she had to the winner announcement that everybody was talking about.
Sure.
Angela has gone 30 years since her last Oscar nomination, and I get how she would noticeably be disappointed, especially with all the hype surrounding her. Hell, she might have been thinking that she doesn't have another 30 years in her to wait for another opportunity like this.
Right.
If there's somebody who can relate to Miss Bassett, it's Sylvester Stallone. He went 30 years between Oscar nominations as well and still didn't win. What's worse, he lost twice for playing the same character. You would think he would have perfected the performance of that character after 30 years. On a happier note with Angela Bassett, to piggyback off of my last letter involving her, she has a Vanity Fair reunion video with Keke Palmer on YouTube.
Yes.
I'd love to get your reaction to. Your boy Ellis Heron from Fort Worth.
Was Sylvester Stallone nominated twice for playing Rocky?
Well, he was nominated.
I know the first time.
The first time was the
For Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah.
There was talk of him being nominated for Creed. But
Okay.
I don't remember if he actually was nominated.
Yeah, I don't actually remember. Yeah.
But to be fair, there was Rocky, Sylvester Stallone in the 70s.
I know.
He
Doesn't have the body of work.
He doesn't have the body of
Angela
work.
Bassett has.
And he was probably playing too much close to like what people suspected Sylvester Stallone was.
Sure.
And now, I mean, he was good in Creed,
Right.
but I didn't think he was.
He was excellent in Rocky Balboa. Like, I don't think
All
of
you
him in
people want to
Creed.
cape up for Rocky Balboa.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I think.
Exactly. I can always tell when you haven't seen it.
That's not the one with Tommy Morrison.
No, that's Rocky V.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who can remember?
People who've seen them.
Oh,
All right.
Not I.
But yes.
Ellis.
But have you seen the Keke Palmer video?
No, I haven't. Have you seen it?
They're hilarious.
So what's happening then?
So you know Keke Palmer's thing is she has this Angela Bassett imitation.
She can do Angela.
She does Angela, and specifically she imitates Angela Bassett in the Jacksons, An American Dream miniseries.
Oh, see, I didn't know that part.
Right.
Okay.
So they actually have a clip where Keke Palmer is doing her Angela Bassett imitation, and Angela Bassett is saying the lines at the same time.
So she's like just mouthing.
Right.
Oh, wow.
It's hilarious.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I got to check that out.
Yeah.
Ellis has a postscript.
Ooh, a postscript.
Thanks.
Fancy.
Thanks for your suggestion that my brother and I watch Coffee with a couple of beers and without our parents. He enjoyed the film, and I'm sure he appreciated how he was able to make certain comments he wouldn't have gotten away with if our parents were there.
Probably not. Probably not.
Ellis, you're welcome.
We're here for you, Ellis.
We're here for you, brother. All right.
See, brothers have to look out for each other. See, that's how we
That's
how
what
we
we
build as a nation.
Farrell Blackwell is in the chat. I can see once, but how do you recognize a person twice for taking a punch?
Aw, see.
Wow,
see,
Pharaoh, that's not.
That's terrible.
That's not. That's not nice. That's not nice. And Aaron Fry says that now with Kindred out of the way and Ripples in Time, or the show, both shows going the way of the dinosaurs, we can now focus on Picard and Lower Decks.
Sure, with all of our free time.
All of our free time.
All of our free
we
time.
could perhaps resurrect Spock adjacent.
Spock adjacent. Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned for that one, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Hope springs eternal.
Is that what it does?
That's what it does.
All right. From your lips. Anyway. All right, let's move on.
All right.
Because we got a pack show, and we got to get Janine in here.
Get Janine in here.
I know.
Yes.
See, the audience can't see, but
I
Janine is
know,
like in the
I
green
know.
screen. We can see her.
I know.
She's laughing her head
I
off.
know.
She's,
Ooh, I don't know. Yes,
she's drinking
know.
scotch.
See,
she's getting ready, man.
See, too far.
It's not too far.
Right.
This is just off camera, but I see her. I see her. All right. So let's get into our games part. Vincent,
Yes.
Which means that we are going to start with the top 5.
Okay, what we got?
Who's your top 5? My top 5 is my top 5.
All right, the top 5, ladies and gentlemen, when I come up with a list and I give it to Vince to offer his commentary on. Now, last week, Vincent.
Yes.
We had fun. We had a good time with you and Tanya.
Right.
As we were talking about songs of Prince that might make good movies.
Good movies, sure,
Right.
sure.
But I want to take you back.
Take me back.
Where we did the top 5 Black Wonder Women.
Black Wonder Women.
Black actresses who we think
Yes.
might be good to be cast as Wonder Woman.
Sure.
So I started thinking about this month in the films that we've been watching, and especially leading into Widows.
Yes.
Right? Which features Viola Davis and Cynthia Erivo in equally badass roles.
Right. You are really hyping up Cynthia Erivo's role in this film as if she's in it a great deal. But please continue.
Look. If it was a Nika
Look, man,
Brown.
I'm just looking for the Lynn cut of this film.
All right. Anyway.
Yes.
So I started thinking about badass sisters and badass actresses.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think it's easy to say that the queen of badassery in black movies is once and forevermore Pam Grier.
Yes.
Hollywood has tried to, not often, but once or twice, try to find a new Pam Grier.
New Pam Grier.
There were some at one point. Taraji P. Henson was kind of like looked like maybe she was idling herself to kind of like be seen in that role.
Sure. They kind of spin Cookie
Right.
from Empire out and become a Sure.
Right, but it didn't quite go that way.
Proud Mary didn't quite gel.
Didn't quite gel. Not wholly bad, but didn't quite gel. So I started thinking about it. Okay, who could be the next Pam Grier?
Okay.
That's out there now.
All right.
Maybe he's got a little bit of heat behind him, but not enough that she can't maybe start a franchise of badass movies. Because remember, while Pam Grier did Foxy Brown and Coffee, at one time those were supposed to be
Right.
like
Foxy Brown was supposed to be the sequel to Coffee.
right,
Right.
but it just didn't play out that way. So this person could do a franchise.
Sure.
So the top 5 next Pam Griers.
Okay.
See what you think.
All right.
All right. And number 5
Number 5.
is a personal favorite of mine, and I know a personal favorite of yours.
Okay.
And soon we'll be looking for the next step in her career.
Okay.
And that is Sonequa Martin Green
Sonequa Martin Green.
of Star Trek Discovery, as well as The Walking Dead. 2 television products that prove that she definitely can handle being a badass chick.
Yes.
In a property.
Yes.
And now with Star Trek Discovery about to premiere their final season,
Sure.
she is going to be looking for the next step, and why not take that next step into film?
Sure. And more importantly, she has the acting chops.
She's got the acting chops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my great argument about Coffee and what's lost between Coffee and Foxy Brown is that Pam Grier is not a bad actress in Coffee. And then, it kind of gets real blaxploitation-y
Right.
once you get to Foxy Brown and Sheba Baby. So, yeah, I think so. Like I'm hoping everybody on this list is also a good actor. And this is absolutely. I'm with you.
All right.
With this.
So that's my number 5.
Number
choice.
5.
Number 4.
Number 4.
This is probably a dark horse.
Okay.
This is Samira Wiley from Orange is the New Black, as well as The Handmaid's Tale.
I love her.
I
I adore her.
I do too.
Yeah. I
do
actually
too.
stopped watching Orange is the New Black when, spoiler, she got killed. Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, I just, again, the acting chops, right? If we've seen her be more action oriented, I can't think of the property where I've
Sure.
seen her like that. But I want to think that she probably has it in her.
Right.
She would definitely bring a different, physicality because she's a smaller woman. But I think that could definitely pull it off. I think she can definitely smolder on screen, like Pam Grier does. That role does ask for that, and I think she is a known quality, a known personality, but certainly not big enough that she will be distracting if you were to form a franchise.
Yeah, you don't
around
have
her.
to sell me on her at all.
Yeah.
And because I also think the camera loves her.
Don't it though?
Yeah. I think you can't take your eyes off of her.
No, I know.
So, 2 for 2.
All right, 2 for 2.
right.
All right. Number 3.
Number 3.
Now, number 3, I took this from my Wonder Woman list.
I assume there'd be some overlap.
This is the only overlap, though.
Interesting.
Because I just really like this person.
And that would be?
Yvonne Orji from Insecure. Because I think even though I definitely could see her in Wonder Woman, I could totally see her as a Foxy Brown, Proud Mary type in film. She has the physicality, she's got the look, she's got the smart, she's got the humor to pull it off, right? And Insecure was like her first acting thing.
Sure, and a lot of physical comedy in Insecure.
A lot of
she
physical
definitely has some
comedy.
physicality.
She brings a little bit of the because I'm trying to remember her ethnicity because she's not African American.
No, she is in Insecure.
No,
you mean her herself?
Yeah, her herself.
She is Nigerian.
Nigerian, that's what it is. Right. So she could bring some of that aspect into it. I think she would work well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So all right, I'm doing good.
This is boring because I disagree with you.
Well, I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
When's Cynthia Erivo going to make an appearance?
You know, I could see Cynthia Erivo doing this, but she's not on my list.
Yeah. I think it's bananas nobody has built something around her yet.
I know.
Like, they just leaving money on the table.
Well,
like,
I mean,
we don't need this money.
But to be fair, the woman stays busy because she
no,
does
I
film
get
and
it.
she does Broadway as well.
I get it, but all right, but go ahead.
All right, but
go
number
ahead.
Number two. Another person now looking for the next step in her next notch on her resume.
Sure.
But it's proven that she can do action. Mm-hmm. She has the look and she has comedy.
Okay, and that would be
Zazie Beetz from Atlanta. Also, we saw her as Domino in Deadpool 2, and she was in The Harder They Fall.
You know what? I'm underwhelmed by Zazie Beetz. There, I've said it.
As an actress?
Generally.
Really? You didn't think she was good in Atlanta?
I think she doesn't distract.
You think she doesn't?
She does not. I think she does what she's supposed to do. There's one episode of Atlanta that I really liked her. Like that episode, the last season, that focused when her character had kind of a break.
The one in France?
In France.
Okay.
But besides that,
Really?
I am.
Okay. I totally disagree.
I
think that she is...
Look, I'm not going to say I'm going to die on this hill.
Because
I'm not.
Because she's not given much, like every once in a while, an episode or a storyline will be focused around her in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But when she's had to work with Donald Glover, because that's usually her scene partner.
Look.
I think she's outstanding in those roles. And I thought she was great in The Harder They Fall. I thought she was very good in Deadpool 2.
I thought she was distracting in The Harder They Fall.
Really?
I thought every episode with her and Regina King, it was like someone had wandered on the set and was playing dress up.
Well, did she necessarily fit that time period? Her look?
No, I'm not talking about that. Look, I'm not gonna sit
That's
here.
interesting.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
I know. So,
So
there,
you're not-
so there you go. You're a little bit on the list.
Okay.
A little bit on the list. A little bit on the list.
Ooh, okay. Well, number
I
one.
don't think she's bad. I'm just not.
Okay, then how would you couch that? What you've just said?
I'm just sort of like I'd watch it on cable.
Okay.
Zazie Beetz is big studio IP that we're building around. One, The Adventure Begins. And it was on in the middle of the afternoon. I thought, hey, let me watch this. Directed by journeyman director.
Well, first of all,
Who worked on television.
who worked on directed by that guy.
Right.
Number one. I have no doubt that you will agree with me. With
Okay,
number one.
all right.
All right?
Yes.
To be the next Pam Grier. An actress more than deserving of having a franchise built solely around her.
Right.
As opposed to being parts of a franchise.
Okay, and that would be?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh, come on. Stop. Of course. Lupita Nyong'o, of course.
No, okay.
Of course.
Because I started thinking about it. She is really the beast in Wakanda Forever.
Come on, man.
She is the unstoppable
She plays
force.
2 crazy action roles in Us.
Well, yeah, I didn't even get to Us.
Right.
I didn't even think about
Yes.
get to Us. But she would absolutely be phenomenal in like a Foxy Brown, Proud Mary coffee type of role. Franchises built around her. She's just able to like really just sink into the character.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
I'm there. Absolutely.
I'd be there all day.
A controversial take. Lupita Nyong'o should star in a series of films. We live on the edge here on the Micheaux Mission. There you go.
All right. Well, I'm glad you agree with my number one.
I do agree. I agree with all of them.
You do?
I just have a soft degree for one of them.
That wasn't a degree. That wasn't a degree.
That's all right.
That wasn't a degree.
I'm gonna get a mean phone call from one of my friends at some point. Either he's listening now or because he's a Zazie Beetz guy.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah, so all right.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
You know how you used to go to old people's house and they had like vanilla ice cream?
yeah.
And like they give you some vanilla ice cream. Oh, you want some ice cream? Oh, I like ice cream. It's like vanilla. And it's like, all right.
My favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla.
So you're offered all the flavors. And you choose vanilla.
Yeah. French vanilla, to be exact.
French vanilla. You like the little spats.
I like
the
my-
little spats.
Yes,
All right.
yes, I like
That's
it.
your well, there you go.
There you go.
I have nothing.
You have nothing?
I got look.
Okay.
It's happening in real time, folks. I can't even I don't even know how to respond to that.
Well, you can respond with it's time for the Game of Kings.
The Game of Kings.
As we get into 6 degrees of D'Urville Martin.
Someone who could be the new Pam Grier all on his own.
Well, not him or his mustache. One or the other. All right.
Wait. All right, there we go. We're back.
6 degrees of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where Vincent will attempt in 6 films or less to connect the 70s Pam Grier part deux.
That's right.
That is
That's
D'Urville
right.
Martin.
Pam Grier was trying to be D'Urville Martin.
She was.
Right.
To an actress or actor of my selection.
Yes.
Now, we've been talking about badass black women.
Yes.
Connect D'Urville Martin to
D'Urville
these
Martin.
two
Two
badass white actresses.
badass white women.
White women.
All right.
All right. So number one, Vincent.
Number one.
In 6 films or less.
6 films or less.
Connect D'Urville Martin
D'Urville
to
Martin. Two.
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
You know what the hell?
She was in the Underworld movie.
Oh,
franchise.
right. Her. Kate Beckinsale. What else was she in?
She was in Underworld.
You're not just going to list Underworld movies, are you?
Underworld 2.
Yes.
No, she was also in the reboot
Oh, Lord.
of what was it? The Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall.
I thought she was like an actress at one point. Wasn't she in like actual stuff, not just this?
I don't think so. This is where I mostly know her from genre stuff.
I don't even remember who was in the Total Recall because I was against it. I was against it so hard.
So was the audience.
Who was in Total Recall?
So was the
The
audience.
Unnecessary.
I want to say, I'm going to look it up now, but I want to say Colin Farrell was in that. I could be wrong though, but I think Colin Farrell was in that. I'll tell our producer Terry, who was kind enough to put our chat up on the screen, but it is timed out because of the screensaver, so I can't see it. I know people are screaming.
That sounds right. Colin Farrell was in Total Recall.
Oh, she was also in. Well, this is not. Now I'm giving it away if I start giving movies that she was in.
I mean,
She was in. She was in Total.
was she in Total? Was Colin Farrell in Total Recall?
She was in Total Recall alongside Colin Farrell and Jessica Biel.
All right. So let's do it. like this.
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale, who was in Total Recall with Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell was in The Batman with Zoe Kravitz. Zoe
Okay.
Kravitz was in After Earth.
Oh, was she?
Was that her in After Earth with Jaden Smith? Wait, that's the Will Smith Jaden
Will Smith.
movie,
Yeah,
right?
that's the film.
All right. Jaden Smith was in the new Karate Kid with Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan
Why you saying it like that?
is
Jackie
in
Chan.
any of the
They can't go any.
what did them
Cannonball Run 2.
no, Rush Hour with Chris
Tucker.
Tucker, who's in Jackie Brown, with Jane Kennedy, who's in Sheba Baby.
Jane Kennedy.
Not Jane Kennedy.
We were just talking about her,
I
Vincent.
know. Pam Grier, who's in Sheba Baby, with Derville Martin.
Okay. All right. Very good, Vincent.
Yes.
You got there.
Yeah.
You got there.
Kate Beckinsale, boy, I tell you.
I'm looking at her filmography.
Yeah.
Now, she did The First Underworld in 2003.
Yeah, which
So-
is not bad.
Which after that, she's pretty much in like
Yeah, shout out Kevin Grievo.
genre stuff.
Okay.
But before that, she was in Alice Through the Looking Glass, Broke Down Palace. She was in Pearl Harbor, which was not a good movie. She was in Much Ado About Nothing in 1993. I think she quickly saw her life
Is Denzel Washington? Is that the one Denzel Washington is in?
in 93. That sounds maybe about right.
What You Do About Nothing? Isn't Denzel in that?
I think that's about that time. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's the one. She's in there with Keanu Reeves
I was about saying Keanu Reeves.
and Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
But she quickly pivoted to genre films
okay.
and made her mark.
I was about to say, all right.
All right.
Who's badass white woman number 2?
All right. This one might be a little easier.
This might be a little easier, right?
I don't think so, though.
Okay, well, I guess we're about to see.
In 6 films or less, it's from Derville Martin
Derville Martin,
to
2.
Mila Jovovich
Mila Jovovich, oh my God.
of the Resident Evil
Yes.
movie series.
Yes. Is Lance Riddick in one of those?
Not that I remember. I'm not going to say he's not, but like there's like 12 of them. I'm not going to look up all 12 of them.
See if Lance Riddick is in Resident Evil.
Okay, let's look up
Lance Riddick, Resident Evil.
Lance Riddick. Okay, calm down. Lance Riddick, Resident Evil. Nothing's coming up on Google so far.
Okay.
The first one, he is in the first one,
Yeah.
but
Mila Jovovich isn't.
it doesn't look like Mila.
How is she not in the? I thought that was her whole deal.
Because this one is 2022. She wasn't in there. This was the TV show.
Oh, for God's sake.
It was the TV show Resident Evil.
All right. What else is she in besides? No, she was in. No, that's what?
She's done a few things. She's done a one movie that I know you love and you've seen 1,000 times.
What is that?
Well, if I tell you, it will seriously give it away.
She's in the movie I've seen 1,000 times.
Yep. I guarantee you've seen this movie, if not 1,000 times, more than 3. But I can't tell you because it would be too easy. Mila Jovovich. Think of her face. Think of her prominent features, which are, to be fair, her eyes
She's like in not a Blade.
Color of her hair.
I have no idea what she's in. What is she in?
All right, I'm going to try and give you another movie besides that one.
All right, keep this thing moving.
Let's see. She was in
Wait, is she in Girl 6?
Girl 6? No,
Oh, for God's sake.
she's not in Girl 6. She is in, thinking of a movie that you would have seen. She was in the 2011 version of The Three Musketeers. She was in Zoolander 2.
I said Girl 6. All right, well, you know, Zoolander. You know what, Zoolander 2? Mm-hmm. She wasn't in Zoolander, though.
No.
Okay, here you go. Deborah Martin is in Sheba Baby with Pam Grier, who's in Hitman with Bernie Casey,
Okay.
who's in The Man Who Fell to Earth
Here you go.
with David Bowie,
Okay.
who's in Zoolander with any of the cast of Zoolander.
Okay, but not all of the casts are in the one that you're trying to get to.
Yeah, but
So why don't you just name the star?
Ben
Stiller.
Stiller, who's in Zoolander 2 with Mila Jovovich.
Jovovich.
Sure.
Okay.
But I use David Bowie. That's got to count for something.
That counts for something.
Like I use David Bowie.
Congratulations.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I think that's Bernie Casey in The Man Who Fell to Earth. I might be mixing that up with.
So we need to
Encounter.
start over?
Yeah, see who's a black guy who's in The Man Who Fell to Earth for like 5 minutes.
The black guy
In The Man Who Fell to Earth. Right, Man Who Fell to Earth. I think that's Bernie Casey.
Why not I just-
He's either in that or he's in Close Encounters.
Man Who
Because I made note of it last time I watched it. And I said, ooh, this can get me to them.
That is Bernie Casey.
That's Bernie Casey and The Man Who Fell to Earth, right?
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Yes,
Boom.
it's very good.
And I use The Man Who Fell to Earth, so I feel good about myself.
You do feel good. Yeah, you
Especially
should.
going into next week as we go now. Octavia April.
That's very good.
You know I'm gonna be in my bag next week.
I know you will be.
All right, but there you go. All right.
Now, do you want to know the movie that I know that you've seen more than 3 times?
What is that?
Starring Mila Jovovich.
What is that?
Because it also stars a person that you reference in Getting to Kate Beckinsale,
And that would be
Chris Tucker.
okay. I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Fifth Element.
Can I tell you a secret? I've only seen The Fifth Element once.
What? How have you only seen the? That is one of the most, like,
That's I know.
the
That's
funnest.
Look, I know y'all keep telling me.
Great.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of fun and
It's
I know,
joyful.
and that's what y'all keep telling me.
It's one of Chris Tucker's best performances. One of Bruce Willis's best performances.
It is like claws on a chalkboard.
Really?
I know.
Why?
And I know that's kind of the point of Chris Tucker in the role.
Oh, so it's him. It's him that.
It's him, and I feel like it's trying way too hard.
Oh, I think everybody's having a ball. Gary Oldman is having a ball.
Hey, I get it. Zazie Beetz, Fifth Element. I know I'm in the minority.
Wow.
I know it's a Minority Report. See what I did there? See, I'm getting ready for the science fiction. See, it's a Minority Report.
Okay.
All right. All right.
You continue patting yourself on the back, and I will keep this train moving, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep the train moving. Keep the train moving.
As we move into our review of Widows with Janine Coveney coming up. But that was usually when we would do trailer talk.
Right, but let's go ahead.
Let's just go get into it. Janine's ready to
sitting
go.
here
Let's bring
waiting.
Janine
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Bring Janine
Hey,
up.
you guys.
Hi, Janine.
Thank you for having me on.
Hey, Janine, how are you doing? Welcome to the Micheaux Mission.
yes.
I'm so glad we're able to make this happen. We tried to make it at the end of 2022. couldn't make it happen, but I'm glad you're here now.
Absolutely. And I've been listening to your talk and maybe I should have agreed to participate because I'm over here with my reactions and my comments and my maybe Jodie Turner-Smith for the next Pam Grier, maybe Megan Good might be too old. She don't have the acting chops, but I'm rolling with you guys, but I'm really surprised to hear, Vincent, that you haven't seen The Fifth Element more than once, but to each their own.
I know it seems like it would be right up my ballpark, but it just, you know what? I'm due for a revisit.
Okay.
Maybe I'll try it again.
Maybe if they remake it with Zazie Beetz.
Maybe I needed Janine to ask me. So now I'll go.
So do I just jump in with my review since we're here to talk about Widows, or you need to introduce it?
Well, we are here to talk about Widows, ladies and gentlemen, with Janine Coveney. But before we do, Janine, can you tell people what is the Words on Flicks?
Ah, yes. Okay. So the Words on Flicks show came out of my blog, Words on Flicks, which is my online blog where I just review movies. And it started out with me reviewing older movies, classic movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, because I love that classic Hollywood era. Mm-hmm. And so I started reviewing contemporary movies as well. And then a friend who was gathering together a bunch of different people who wanted to do podcast, he said, hey, why don't you turn it into a podcast, a radio podcast? So now the Words on Flick show runs every third Sunday of the month on Blog Talk Radio. And it's about an hour long, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And I've been doing it, I think, since about 2019. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Wow. And first of all, I just love that you're a lover of classic films, because I can't get this guy to watch anything before 1966.
Oh.
I will.
No, he'll do it for the show.
For the show, yeah.
Got it.
Outside of that, he ain't got no time for anything from Jim Crow era. That's how he likes to call it.
I understand, because, some of those flicks, we know better now. We know the racism and the biased, prejudicial, representations of people of color were just out the box. But we need to know that. I don't think we need to quell any of that stuff, like all efforts to get rid of Gone with the Wind and not show it. If we don't show that, we're getting rid of the performances of Buddy Fly McQueen. We're getting rid of other key performances that are part of our cultural history in America. We need to know. We need to see. It needs to be available. So
right. And all jokes aside, we need to talk about it. It's best if we have a critical voice in the conversation. So you're doing the good work. Yeah.
But I also like old musicals, and I love the clothes and the fashion, and I love dissecting, the noir and the color schemes and the cinematography, and the fact that people back in the day were just as dirty, shady, low down, scheming, sexual, and crazy as they ever were. Like, we think it's like some modern day thing that people are more out the box. Humankind has always been crazy, and some of those make the best stories, especially when it's set in like the 1930s. You're like, oh my gosh, these people were doing that stuff way back when.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were getting ridiculous. Yeah. All right, but Janine is here, ladies and gentlemen, to join us in our review of Widows. Let me set it up for you. Widows is a 2018 neo-noir heist thriller directed by Steve McQueen from a screenplay by Gillian Flynn and McQueen that is based upon a 1983 British television series of the same name. That I did not know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The plot follows 4 Chicago women who attempt to steal $5 million from the home of a prominent local politician in order to pay back a crime boss for whom $2 million was stolen by the woman's husband before they were killed in a botched getaway attempt. That's not giving anything away because it happens within the first 5 minutes of the movie. This British-American co-production stars Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, Elizabeth Debicki, Colin Farrell, Brian Tyree Henry, Daniel Kaluuya, Robert Duvall, Liam Neeson, and Cynthia Erivo. In Janine's selection for this stop on the mission to close out Women's History Month, Janine, what have you to say of Widows?
Well, I have quite a lot to say about Widows. Now, I like a good, strong, classic heist film, and, you know, this is amongst the best that there are. However, the twist that they tried to promote is that this is all women, done by all women. And it actually came out the same year. I think earlier in the year we had Ocean's 8,
yes,
which was the all-female version, kind of a Ocean's 11 type story. But that was more of a comedy. It was much more lighthearted. This is hardcore. So anytime that you have Viola as the lead, like, this is her hardcore badass leading up to her hardcore badass in The Woman King, where you, as you rightfully said in a previous show, we see more of her abilities in The Woman King than anything we've seen before. But this emotionally is pretty close. Okay, so most heist films work because you believe the characters have a just reason to pull off the heist, even if it's like personal greed or it's revenge or something like that. And you like the characters, you like them, you pull for them, you want them to pull it off.
Right, exactly.
But we know that no heist film, you know, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, because otherwise if it came off cleanly, there'd be no real good story. So this film tries to cover a lot of ground along with the revenge story. And so, you know, this is not Heat, this is not Inside Man, this is not The Italian Job, you know, it's in that area. But while I respect these characters and what they've gone through and what Viola Davis's character as Veronica goes through with her husband is just horrific. But this film kind of leaves me a little bit cold. So let me get more into that. I understand why these women have lost their husbands.
Yes.
You know, but they know that their husbands are criminals. They understand the life that they lead. They know what the risks are. Okay, so I'm just saying. Right, their husband. So you never want to lose your husband under any circumstance, but there's always that risk. These women know that there's a risk. I don't think any of them are unaware, right? No. So, and while the flick is presented as a woman-led caper and a tribute to female strength and ingenuity, let's understand that what they go through is because the men around them are jerks, okay? The men around them are all bastards, particularly Liam Neeson's character, Harry Rollins, who portrays Viola Davis's husband. We see them, like the whole opening of the film are like these sweet kind of domestic scenes interposed with these scenes of violence, like what happens to the inciting incident that sets off the film, right? It's a botched heist where most of the men get killed. And we assume all of the men are killed, right?
Right.
But Harry Rollins he's a despicable character. We find out how despicable as the film goes on, right? So we can talk spoilers, right?
Absolutely.
We can talk spoilers,
we do spoilers here.
Okay. So the Liam Neeson character, Harry Rollins, he cheats on his wife, which she doesn't know, the audience doesn't know till midway through the film. He purposely murders his crew. Okay? He dupes everyone who loves him into thinking he's dead. And then he shows up after his wife had pulled off this daring heist to steal the money back. And then he wants to steal the money back from her. I mean, when I went to see this in the theater, people were cheering his demise, okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Get him, right? So, but the film incorporates so many other things, right? It shows us without any real commentary in interracial marriage, which we, you know,
that's right,
which isn't the crux of the story, but okay, we note that. We also see police brutality with an unprovoked shooting of a young Black man who was their son. So that caused an unhealable wound in their marriage, which is where Harry and Veronica's marriage starts to unravel. And we kind of see that only in flashback. It's about dirty politics in a town where dirty politics is a sport, Chicago. And so we really get a real sense of Chicago. And if this is what's going on at the level of aldermen, like we're not talking about mayor or senator or, you know, this is just aldermen, okay? Like a whole lot of dirty things are going on at this level. And, we just see that while women are strong and they are the backbone, they're left to clean up a lot of stuff for the men in this movie. And I'm not just talking about the widows. I'm talking about Colin Farrell's character, who is the scion of a political family. He's running for alderman. He has a female assistant who has to, like, she's holding him up, holding him down, holding him together, you know, and trying to keep him focused. His father, who's a bastard, also, who's ailing. He has a female caretaker.
Yes.
Right? And so let me get into the actresses. As you rightly noted, Vincent, Michelle Rodriguez, love her. She's been badass in so many movies. She's kind of wasted here. You know, she has one interesting scene where she's together with this older architect's husband, and she kind of loses herself for a minute, but
well, they share a moment of grief together.
Yes, a moment of grief over her, because her husband has gambled away all their money. She has nothing left to pay for the store she was running. She's gonna lose the store. In addition to, you know, she may catch a bullet from this local politician who wants his money back, which is, what's his name? Brian Tyree Henry, who has never looked more menacing. Like, he doesn't even say that much in the movie.
Yeah.
He lets Daniel Kaluuya, who plays his brother, do all his dirty work for him, which is interesting because Daniel Kaluuya, he's been in a lot of movies, but I just find him to be, he's not scary to me. He does scary things in this movie, but he just, I don't know, like his face is so dead to me half the time.
I thought he got the menacing over myself.
To say.
he scared me.
Okay, well, yeah, he does scary things. I just, like, as an actor, he's not my favorite. I thought he ruined Nope. I thought somebody else should have been in Nope. But I digress.
I think we found her Zazie Beetz.
Apparently.
So we learn a lot about Elizabeth Debicki's character, her Polish mother, you know, her horrible mother who wants her to practically prostitute herself after her husband is gone. So I want to know a lot more about her character. And I think if Steve McQueen had adapted this as the series that the original British production was, we would have learned a lot more about all of these women's lives, because I definitely wanted to know more about Cynthia Erivo's character. Like, she is the add-on character. She's not even one of the original widows, but she even tells them, you don't want to mess with me. Like, you do not, and you believe it, right? Like, she hasn't, all she's done is run for the bus
Right.
And I'm already like, she could kick somebody's ass. She gonna hurt somebody in this movie. Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't believe it, there's a scene with her in a punching bag to prove it. She's got the receipts.
Right. And she is the most, like, there's a lot of electricity around her when she's on the screen. There's so much electricity around Viola Davis when she's on the screen. I don't think the other women hold the screen as well, which is interesting to me. Like Cynthia, she's just like a little ball of energy, man. I just love her. She is fantastic. I was not a huge fan of Harriet as telling the Harriet Tubman story, but I could not fault her performance in it. Like, she was awesome. So, yeah, this movie leaves me with questions, you know, about the characters, but as a heist and as an interesting story with an interesting twist at the end, it is good. It's a good movie. It's not my favorite, but it's a good movie. So, you know.
Yeah, that's where I land on it too, because it's good. And first of all, you start with Steve McQueen, so you know if nothing else, it's going to be good. It's going to look good. The colors, the women are going to pop off the screen. There's going to be interesting camera movements. I love the scene where you see Colin Farrell leaving from some type of rally that's happening in like an abandoned lot, gets into his car, and then you're out. The camera's outside the car, and it just follows.
So fantastic.
Driving through Chicago from this downtrodden neighborhood until it gets to, you know, the more affluent neighborhood where he lives. Right.
But it's really not that far.
It's really not that far.
It's just like a couple of blocks. That's the amazing thing about it, right?
Right. The scene is actually in real time in the movie, and it's like just a couple of minutes.
We live in Philadelphia, so.
Right.
So I absolutely love that, right? And
absolutely.
And there's other scenes, you know, camera work like that. So you know that's going to be there with Steve McQueen. You're right. I don't think that all of the characters are fleshed out as well, including, to be fair, Veronica. Viola Davis's character.
Sure.
I think it's because of the actress that she is that Viola is able to put on the screen what is not necessarily in the script, and you're able to read it from her.
Absolutely.
So that kind of starts filling in some dots for you. But that's just credit to her. We said it all along. She could have been nominated way before The Woman King.
Sure.
And I wouldn't have been mad if she would have been nominated for something like Widows. It's typically not the type of movie that they recognize.
Sure.
Michelle Rodriguez, I think she is a bit wasted in the film because Michelle Rodriguez already has, like, when you see that she's going to be in a heist film, you're kind of like already waiting for certain scenes with Michelle Rodriguez that you've already played out in your head, and she doesn't have them.
Well, the irony is she's not playing that character,
and that's why you could say she's wasted. But I actually liked her in this. I actually loved that moment with the architect, her giving.
And maybe that's why she took it, because she needed to show another side of her acting chops.
Yeah. And I think she did. I think she did well. I think the problem of the movie having maybe a little too much plot with the systemic racism of the alderman race, and then you've got to go to the church for really nothing. You really don't need to go there.
Right.
You definitely have to build up Viola Davis as the backstory, her role, but Elizabeth Debicki's character, it's clearly kind of like the B story there, because she gets more time. So that doesn't serve her well, and nor does it serve Cynthia Erivo. But quiet as kept, they probably outside of Steve McQueen, they probably just didn't know, like, oh my God, she's popping the hell off the screen, right? And so it's probably no surprise that is after this film, Cynthia Erivo's name starts to pop. You know, she does the Aretha Franklin movie, and her name starts getting out there. I think it's just trying to serve too many masters as far as the story, because the plot, the heist of it all, it does work. It is cool. I do like it. I love Daniel Kaluuya in this film. And you talk about cheering. When I saw this in theaters, everyone cheered when he gets his comeuppance. Because you just been waiting for it. And I love that it's not drawn out.
Right.
Like, because in any other movie, it would have been drawn out. He'd have come walking back.
Sure.
But no, it's boom.
Right.
So I love that. But I think that overall, it's just maybe a little bit too much plot. You take out one or two of these plots. I don't think Liam Neeson, the turn with him, I understand it. I don't really think it lands as much as they want it to. So that and the runtime, because it's a long movie. It's a little over 2 hours. I think it's what hurt it in the box office, because this was not a hit, and I'm sad to say, because I really did enjoy it. I wanted to enjoy it more.
I don't have a lot to add. I think, always want to start with the positive. I think Steve McQueen is a magnificent director, just on the technical level. Like, there are scenes in this film that are amazing. The Daniel Kaluuya scene with the two henchmen who are rapping. Any scene with Robert Duvall and Colin Farrell was amazing. Brian Tyree Henry coming to the apartment with Viola Davis.
All he needs is a dog, and he scares the hell out of you.
The moment when Cynthia Erivo meets the other women, like, just scene to just as discrete scenes, it is magnificently put together. The performances. I was thinking, because we were just talking about Viola Davis a couple of weeks ago, I think Viola Davis is in her Stevie Wonder in the 70s moment.
Oh, okay.
Where she's so good, so consistently, you can't help but take her for granted a little bit. Like, she's just so good. It's like you see her in this, you see her in Fences, you see her in the Suicide Squad, and she's just so good in everything. I love Colin Farrell.
That was what I was saying about Denzel Washington, why he didn't get an Oscar for Fences. I'm like, he's good in everything all the time, all day and night. Like, he's going to have to do something. He's going to have to wear a dress in a movie.
Right.
Or he's going to have to do something outrageous in order to get an Oscar, because he's too good. Like, and Viola is in that same category at this point.
Yeah, but I think the real key to unlocking why this doesn't work is the origins. This should have been a miniseries. Like, it's so packed. And this is the type of film and the type of cast that you wish they would have pitched it 2 or 3 years after this, so it could have been on the stream. This should have been on Amazon Prime. This should have been on Apple TV. Steve McQueen actually does Small Acts, where he has a series so you can breathe. Because I have to say, as a heist film, the heist plot was frankly what I was the least interested in.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah,
the changing demographics of this political landscape, where you have someone trying to transition from a life of crime into politics versus this old family dynasty. I almost wish they hadn't stolen the money. Like, I wish this could have been the movie, like, just showing them together. Elizabeth, and I just forgot her last name.
Debicki.
Elizabeth Debicki trying to navigate this post-husband life and not fall into this life of prostitution and everything but name only.
Yeah, and let me just give her a little bit of props. I think it's only because she's sharing the screen with Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, and the camera can't forget Cynthia Erivo, that she comes off as lesser than in this film. Because I actually think she's good.
I think she holds her own. Like, I think she's very... She was the most surprising aspect of this for me. Cynthia Erivo portraying this black woman who is in a lot of ways part of the working poor. Like, she's got all these gigs she's trying to link together. She's living this life. I don't know if she's... Because I couldn't quite understand if the woman at the apartment was her partner or
I thought it was her mother.
Or mother. But, you know, she has this weird queering, I thought. Like, she read a little queer to me that I wanted to see that a little more. So that, much like you all, I landed on I liked it. Like, I liked it, but it was so much that I couldn't really focus on one aspect of the film to say that I loved it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those Gillian Flynn, like, she is known for these, like, hardcore crime stories because she did Gone Girl, which is another film that, you know, story that's so complicated. And then when you find out what the twist is, you're like, who would do that? You know? Like, that's almost insanity. Like, what the Liam Neeson character ends up doing is just cuckoo.
Yeah.
I have to say, not for one moment did I not know that he was still alive. Like, it's like I've read
Even
enough comic
before
books.
the dog in the apartment?
Well, I've read enough comic books and I've seen enough soap operas that I know if there's no body, somebody's going to show up.
Right, yeah.
Like when it blew
but we
up.
do see him walking away, right? Early on. We see that early on, though, right?
No. 'Cause what they show in the beginning is you show, like, they have this heist and all the guys, they go and they get in the back of the van, and then you see him kind of going to the front of the van. Then it cuts, and the next time you quote unquote see him is when he's getting shot up by the cops.
Right.
But then later on they flash back, and that's when you see him actually.
But as soon as the police said that there wasn't enough to identify a body, I said, oh yes, somebody got away. And if I have to pick between the two dudes who I don't know, John Bernthal, and Liam Neeson, clearly Liam Neeson is going to show up later.
Well, the guy who is also being intercut with this action with Viola Davis.
Right.
So, yeah. And that's the other thing is that part of the heist, there's two things that made me upset. Not upset, but just got on my nerves a little bit from a plot standpoint.
Okay.
Because that part of the heist, him like killing himself and stealing them, I don't know if I really ever wrapped myself, like, really got the math of it. Like, what was happening?
Like exactly why are you doing this?
Yeah, I don't really get it. But the other thing I didn't get is that Daniel Kaluuya's character, we find out very early on, is following Viola Davis.
Yes.
And, you know, Viola Davis, because she's not of this life, doesn't pick up that there's this guy following her. So she doesn't know. But at some point, Viola Davis gets away from his gaze enough to have many clandestine meetings with the other ladies. Yeah. And then to still, you know, go around a couple of times. She goes and gets, like, the code from this guy and all this type of stuff. Why did he stop following her?
So you don't think he was following her the whole time?
I don't.
Just listening to. I did like he was listening to self-help tapes. I love that he was into self-improvement.
Learning a language.
He's learning a language. He's listening to a podcast series on the Black Panthers. Like, he's just really. I was like, oh wow, he's trying to be well-rounded. Like when his brother's an alderman.
Which I did appreciate that. I like that character beat of him. I did, but at least it seemed to me that he lost
saw
sight of her.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then and I didn't
think he was
understand that.
following her the whole time because I think he knew that she had the book and the plans, and he was waiting to see what she was going to do with this plan so that he could come in and swoop down, like let her do all the hard work and then
that's
come in
true.
and snatch it from her. But it wasn't clear. I'll give you that. It
Right.
really
It wasn't clear.
Yeah. So that bothered me.
Right. And in a film that we have talked about how much plot there is, I do have to say the one direct reference to them being an interracial couple, where she says if he had had a son with someone presumably white, their son would still be alive. You know, you kind of infer that she thinks because he was a young black man, that's why the police were so trigger happy.
Of course.
And if he was a young white man, they wouldn't have been so trigger happy. I thought that brought up this really funky dynamic about that, about this, that then it's just like I don't really understand the real plot point of them having the dead son, besides him kind of referencing it at the end in passing. But again, if this was a series, if this was, 8 episodes, you could get more, and then you could get more of the exploration of her character like we talked about.
I think the plot
But
point...
I think it was also just, one of the cracks in their relationship that just, because so many couples, whether they're interracial or not, a lot of times you find out when they lose a child, one member of the couple gets over it faster than the other one, or they can't move past it and the marriage falls apart. But here's the other really hurtful thing is that the other wife, the other widow with whom he was cheating, are we to think that this is his baby? We don't.
I think so.
She makes
really
allusions to
know.
that.
Yeah, she actually says
And
it. Yeah.
she is a white woman, and that's terribly hurtful for the Viola character to think about. And shout out to that actress Carrie Coon, who's not in the movie that long, but she is the main character in the HBO series The Gilded Age, which I love. And
Yes, I done messed up my mic.
season.
Yes, I love
Yes, because when Carrie Coon is in that Rhode Island mansion and then suddenly she has to be hustled out the back with the chicken feathers and the fish tails, priceless. But I digress. Let's get back to it.
I am so here for the Gilded Age. Janine has already booked her second appearance on the show.
I see you found your kindred spirit.
I found my kindred spirit.
You can sit and drink tea and watch old movies.
All I need to, if she whispers in my ear a quote from Downton Abbey, I will marry this woman.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I never watched Downton Abbey. I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's fine because my girlfriend will be happy to hear that. Yeah. Anyway, but no, I was going to say that like she makes the allusion to you go someplace with like your new baby,
right? Right.
And you're right. It's almost like he was trying to fill this hole, losing his son. There is.
But if you're going to leave your wife, right, that you supposedly love, you go to her and you say, baby, it ain't working anymore. I'm sorry. I have to go. Did she just know too much? Maybe she just knew too much about him as a criminal, that he was afraid that she would out him. Was he afraid that the angry black woman would just come out and she would shoot him down right there? Like, it's such a conundrum to me.
Yeah, because they also make a point, and I actually like this detail, that Viola Davis's character wasn't in this life. She was actually an innocent. She had to kind of figure out, like I put in my notes, speaking of Pam Grier, she's the anti-Jackie Brown. I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
She does figure it
Brian
out.
Tyree Henry's going to kill my dog. Very nicely.
But But the other thing, you talk about Steve McQueen and his shots and how he composes things and puts the scenes together. I was really struck by like the color palette and the black and white, the
Yes.
black and white, the black and white. And even, you know, her character goes from she's dressed all in white, she's this innocent who this terrible thing has happened to. And as the film goes on, you see her wearing more black with her white and then gray, and until she's in the heist and all in black, you know, and all of that is symbolic. Like even her dog is white.
Stark white.
But she's not entirely innocent because she is living her lifestyle,
Right.
is funded by her husband's activities. Now, she may have been a school administrator, but I'm like, she really goes to, you know, thievery and, you know, blackmail, clicking in a hurry.
Real quick.
She takes to it.
She's Carmela. She's Carmela Soprano.
Yeah.
That's exactly
yeah,
who
exactly.
she is.
Yeah.
That's exactly who she is. And it's interesting you talked about that color palette because I noticed that, you know, the stark black and white, you know, you see her in bed a lot, which is always white sheets, white pillow. And you don't see her in color until the final scene of the movie.
Right.
The final scene of the movie.
And in the final scene of the movie, she smiled.
She
It's
smiled.
still-
Like her smile, I was like, uh-oh, like is something wrong? Like what's gonna happen now? And then the movie is over.
But I like that because she smiles, but she also smiles at the Elizabeth Debicki's character because they, you
Right.
know, happen upon each other, and it's a moment that she didn't allow during all through the
Right.
heist for
Right.
them to actually now connect.
Because she says, "How have you been?"
Exactly.
And you see, you can be a friend.
Exactly.
So
Right.
So it was cool. I do wish it was
Wow.
a series.
And so another small note is that to talk about the black and white and the two sides of the same coin, you notice that the Colin Farrell and Brian Tyree Henry characters, their names are similar. You have Jack Mulligan and Jamal Manning. They're both JM. So it's like, as the movie goes on, you see that they're really not
Yeah.
different.
well, he says it. Name recognition is everything.
Yeah. But
And
you're
Jack
right.
Mulligan tries to give the you know, the voting to Jamal Manning because he wants to stop this cycle of nepotism and racism, and you know he kind of wants to take the burden off of himself. But when his father dies, the community ends up electing him in you know, in mourning, basically.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. There's proof that this movie has too many plots because you're following that all along, but you don't really hear how it ends out. You hear it over the radio. On the radio.
Yeah,
You know, so that's just proof that it was just too many balls in the air.
Right. But you don't get to see Jamal react to his brother dying.
Not at all.
You don't, you know.
Not at all.
Right.
But with all that being said, Janine, would you recommend that people watch Widows?
I would because of the two ladies that we're focusing on this evening. Viola Davis, this is a key film in her filmography, if you will. And Cynthia Erivo, it's just another example of her dexterity, her vitality, her, what's the word that I'm looking for? Versatility. Versatility. Because when I really first noticed Cynthia Erivo on film, she was in that wacky movie about the motel in the 60s. Oh my gosh, what is that movie called? She was a singer, wanted to be a Motown style singer,
Yes.
and she just
What
is it?
I can't. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it.
I'm gonna find it because she's just singing as a character in her motel room.
She's a
And
fantastic singer.
she's incredible.
Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yes. Yes.
Same year.
She's really good in that.
Yes.
She saves that movie for me. So
Yes.
I would recommend Widows. Watch it when you got a lot of time and you want to see something in her filmography and one of Gillian Flynn's plots and Steve McQueen's work, because I thought Steve McQueen had more movies than he does.
I
No,
know.
yeah,
I know.
he doesn't.
He's very selective.
He very much is.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And also watch it. Well, I would recommend that you watch Cynthia Erivo. I mean, Widows. I would recommend that you see this film. I have a feeling that one for the work of Elizabeth Debicki, as we've been talking about. I haven't really seen her in other things, but she's very good in this. The
She
other
was in
side
The
of
Great Gatsby. The redo.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's the one with DiCaprio, right? Yeah, I couldn't get through that. She is. Watch it to see the other side of Michelle Rodriguez.
Right.
To see another side of her. And I do have a funny feeling that this is a film that we're now 5 years. In another 5 years, this is a film that people are going to start revisiting Viola Davis and really appreciate the nuance that she displays in this movie. She is absolutely exceptional in this film.
Yeah, I'm 3 for 3. The performances that you all have mentioned, I think Brian Tyree Henry is putting together quite the filmography.
Oh my God.
Of these sort of supporting roles where he gets 2 or 3 scenes that are magnificent. I enjoyed Daniel Kaluuya in this film. I actually like menacing Daniel Kaluuya. I actually really enjoyed Colin Farrell's performance.
Colin Farrell has turned into a very he always was a talented actor.
Yeah, but he's
with the age, and you kind of like age out of that kind of like leading man look.
Exactly.
Exactly. He's just
Did
crushing.
you see Banshees?
Oh my God!
Fincher?
Yes,
He's so good in that.
he's so good in that.
But this is the 3rd adaptation of this story. Like apparently, it was a mini-series or series in England that had a couple of seasons. They made a version of this, a film version in like I think it said 2002 or something. And then you have this. And I think this is a film that if it gains traction as the years go by, which it looks like it could, I'm really hoping somebody circles back and makes a prestige series out of this. Similar to what they did with House of Cards.
Okay, yeah.
And, you get a Netflix series, you get an Amazon series, you get an Apple series.
Or maybe more apt, similar to what they did with Fargo.
Well, I was saying House of Cards because that was based on a British property too.
Fair enough.
But because the blueprint is there. The blueprint, I thought it was actually brilliant to put it in a political city like Chicago.
Yeah.
Like that's a great political, frankly.
Because the shorthand is right there.
Right. I mean, frankly, it could be set in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is another city like that where you have these political families and changing demographics. But yeah, absolutely, I'd recommend this.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, there you go. We are recommending that you see Widows.
Yes.
It's on a streaming platform coming near you. Janine.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Thank you so
This
much.
was so much fun. Thank you for letting me run my mouth and talk about this movie and chat with you guys and share ideas. It was so much fun.
This was so much fun. The Words on Flicks show, it's available on Blog Talk Radio. And what's the every
3rd Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern. So the next one will be, I think, on the 19th. I think it is. Let me double check right quick. And it's only about an hour. Actually, it's April 16th at 3 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. And I think we're going to be talking about disco in the movies because I'm a disco baby. And
Nice.
they've got this new movie about Neil Bogart, the Casablanca story coming out called Spinning Gold, which I've seen. So I'm going to meld that with some other disco talk. So that's what I'm planning.
Nice.
Oh man, she right in your wheelhouse.
I was about to
mister.
say, oh yeah.
She right in your wheelhouse.
Did you like Spinning Gold?
Uh-oh.
Yes and no.
Okay, fair enough.
You'll have to tune into Blog Talk
That's
Radio
right to hear there you go.
to
All
find
right.
out, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Janine, thank you for joining us,
Yes.
and I mean it. You've booked yourself, so start looking through your
Okay.
discography.
Tanya and I will be boxing it out for a seat at the
All
table.
right, sounds good.
Oh God! All right, thank you so much. We're gonna let you go while we close
All
out the
right.
show.
Thank you.
All right. And before we tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to be reviewing next week, I invite you to check out the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made at micheauxmission.com, where you can hit swag to check out all of the cool designs that we have by way of our good friends at T Public. You could always email the Micheaux Mission. Hit us up at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. Or why don't you leave us a voicemail at 215-867-9666. That's 215-867-9666. Leave us a voicemail and tell us what's on your mind. You can follow the Micheaux Mission on all of your social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Micheaux Media. Not media. What's the name of our show? Micheaux Mission. At Micheaux Mission, where you can also go to YouTube, find the Micheaux Mission at YouTube on YouTube. Follow us, subscribe, become one of our followers. We're going to be having some shorts going up there within the next few weeks. A whole lot more content coming your way by way of YouTube. And the Micheaux Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work. Go to thepodglomerate.com to check out their whole network. The Micheaux Mission is filmed at Manayunk Studios by the Video Content Factory, Philly's premier video production house. Go to thevideocontentfactory.com. Book your time now. Get with my man Terry. Get with my man Dylan. Get with my man Devon. Get with the whole crew, the whole factory. They are the boys. There's no joke. Video Content Factory is the place to be. That's why the Micheaux Mission is here. All right?
All right.
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be in the month of April, which means it's Octavia April.
Yes.
Where we will celebrate everything Afrofuturistic
Yes.
and black sci-fi.
Yes.
In honor of the late, great novelist Octavia Butler.
Yes.
This is one of Vincent's favorite time of year.
It's my favorite month of the show.
And he has selected a doozy for you.
Yes, I have.
I repeat, Vincent
I
has
absolutely do.
selected a
Yes.
doozy for you,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, from 1972.
1972.
We are going to be reviewing Vincent's selection
Yes.
for the black film that is
Yes.
Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission, send your letters to Vincent.
Look, I have been working on this show and working on this episode for years. I've been waiting for this episode for
It's
years.
been marinating.
This has been marinating. I'm very much looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, we all can't wait.
Have you seen Conquest of the Planet of the Apes?
I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie at least once. I do kind of remember.
Probably. I mean,
some-
it's a little deep in the series.
Yeah.
And you are not an ape guy.
Oh, the movies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like Planet of the Apes. I mean,
Okay.
don't get me wrong.
No, but are you an ape guy though? Like, are you?
I like them.
Right, but you're not like one of us.
I'm not.
Sure.
Not until the reboot.
Right, so you're not one of us.
No, I'm not one of you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not one of you.
Okay.
I'm not.
I'm very much looking forward to this conversation.
All right.
All right.
That'll be next week, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Micheaux Mission.
Sometimes movies aren't good, they're interesting.
I see what you did there.
You see that? Look.
Until next week, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.